The top 4,000 firms in the country, or the world, I should say, they're all using as their backbone a mainframe. Customers are trying to cut costs, and the mainframe is a far better platform from a cost perspective. Over the last 8, 9 years, I think, the IBM mainframe environment as a measure of capacity, which is MIPS in the market, has increased by 20% compounded annually, and actually has gone up more in the last year. The mainframe's market share is larger today than it's ever been, so it's the platform that runs big business.
How important is mainframe computing to CA?
From CA's perspective, it's 60% of our revenue, so it's very important to us. It's a big part of our customer base, and how we work with our customers.
What are the most important technical skills that you would seek when trying to hire someone for an entry-level position in mainframe computing?
A good sense of the basics, being able to program, being able to architect things. It's also a world now where you got to be agile and do things fast and timely, because it's a fast-paced world out there. It's very demanding. You need to bring basic skills to the game, but you need to be able to be agile, and communication is a big part of that.
What would you tell a college-level student like myself to help them decide as to whether mainframe computing would be the right path for them?
The average age of the people that support the mainframe platform, whether it be on the customer side or the vendor side, is anywhere between 62 years old and 55. Customers and vendors have really not gone through a renewal process within this space, because there was a belief that the mainframe wouldn't exist in 2009. Well, obviously that's far from the truth. And because of this age factor, it presents a very unique opportunity for college students to come into a career opportunity that allows them to be mentored by people who are, in a sense, leaving the space, get a sense of skilling very, very rapidly, and walk their way through everything from getting into support kind of jobs to actually development jobs to level 2 jobs, into management jobs, product line management, all the way up to senior vice president. It's in a really rapid way.
What separates mainframe computing people from other IT professionals?
The skill sets that are required in the mainframe are no different than any other platform. We are going through a major transformation of our own portfolio. We call it Mainframe 2.0. A big part of that effort within CA is a bunch of people that are 25-year-olds working in Prague using Java, which is the language of any other of the distributed platform. The skills, in a sense, are transferable to the mainframe. That aggressiveness, that attitude of trying to understand the needs that exist within business, and what we can do from using and harnessing this platform advantages to make a difference are not going to be any different between the mainframe and distributed.
You mentioned before about the recession going on, and a national broadcast had brought up that there were actually 3 IT jobs that were sort of recession-proof in a way. There was networking, software engineering, and mainframe computing. Would you agree with that statement?
Workload costs half as much on the mainframe that it does on the distributed platform. So that's a major factor as to why the mainframe would be used more during these times. We had a very centralized world in the late 80s, early 90s, where the mainframe really did everything in most major corporations. At that time, the platform wasn't as innovative as it needed to be. It wasn't as nimble, flexible. It was perceived to be very costly. So there was a major move to go to the distributed side in a very, very big way. Given the recession, there's an effort by most IT organizations to look really, really hard and look at things that they've done on the distributed side or new workloads and start to bring things back. Given where we're at and the way the world's going, I think centralization, standardization is the means to cutting costs. And there's no better platform than the mainframe to be able to do that.
Did you know 90% of the Fortune 1000 companies use mainframe computers?
I didn't know that.
How would you respond to college-level students who express concerns about mainframe computing jobs being offshored?
All of these corporations need a core group to replace the people who are in fact going to be retiring. And those are people that need to be here because they need to be close to our customers. They need to understand our customers' needs. They need to be able to essentially retool what we're doing to answer the new issues of the day. And they have to be part of passing the torch, that taking the mind trust that owns this knowledge today and being able to pass that knowledge on. 2000, the workload, the measure of the computing capacity on the planet, was 3.5 million MIPS. Again, it's just a measure of size. Today it's 14 million MIPS. There's actually less people today that manage the platform than there was in 2000. You know, that adage that never in the history of mankind has so many owed so much to so few really relates to the mainframe people. I mean, you cannot create greater efficiency, I think, from a human capital perspective. So you need those people to be in proximity to these platforms. You need them to be part of the transition, if you will, to being mentoring from one generation to the next. And really, there isn't the need to optimize it much further than it already is. I mean, they're doing amazing scales of work, creating amazing levels of quality of service. So some unique characteristics about it that make it something that's really not easily offshored, nor should it be, nor can it be.
So projecting 5 years into the future, what do you see as the outlook for mainframe computing careers?
You know, I see nothing but good things. I mean, we, as an example, are creating what we call these centers of gravity. So I'm creating 5 major development centers within the world. And we're bringing together all of the people into these centers. And part of the purpose is to give us a forum to mentor the next generation, to bring new people in, train them with the people that know these technologies, know these customers, know this market. But also come into a building where you can actually come in as an entry-level person in support, and then work your way up to level 2, and work your way up into a development job, into a QA job, into a product line manager job, into a product management job, into a product marketing, into ultimately a senior vice president, all within one building. So a person can come in and see a 20-year career as an option for them. And what's really intriguing about it is given the vacuum of people currently there, that there's not really people that are 25, 20, at least not lots of them, that are in this career path, it presents a very unique opportunity, I think, to escalate their careers very rapidly.
What programs does CA have to develop an interest in college students for mainframe computing jobs?
I'm going to universities that are nearby with the intent of getting people excited about the career opportunities within the mainframe space. And we want to find the best, computer science students on the face of the planet to come in and be part of something that spawns a new generation of mainframe developers and a new degree of innovation. I mean, we've got a very aggressive strategy to change the way the mainframe is managed forever. And I'm not naive to understand that you need innovation. You need new ways of looking at things, new ideas. And I really see these college students that are coming out as the means to kind of create the spark that really takes CA to bigger and better places.
Did you know mainframe servers process over 80 billion transactions a day?
I didn't know that.
What can colleges and universities do to help promote an interest in the students to actually go after these mainframe computing jobs?
They need to enlist the support of the big vendors, like a CA as an example. I also think that, virtually all these universities sit in communities with big mainframe shops that, if you're in Texas, it's Bank of America's got a massive, and those companies need to be brought in to expose the students to the options that are presented within this space. So I know that IBM's doing their best efforts to make a difference. CA is making a big effort. I would call upon the deans and the people that lead the computer science departments to actually start talking to some of these member organizations that I'm sure support them and say, hey, bring in your people that run infrastructure and talk to these students about what is, I'm certain, a consistent need, that we've got an aging workforce. We've got a bunch of positions that are going to open up over the next 5 years, 10 years. We need to start bringing in people right now to actually start working on that transition. So it's very important, I think, as the computer science leadership to understand that this is not fun and games, it's not video games, it's what runs business in America and worldwide.
What can the enterprise computing community do to help CA, and what can CA do to actually give back to the ECC?
We need the world to understand that there is a strong future in the mainframe. It's not just going through a renaissance, it's going through a revival. It's growing more rapidly. The recession's helping, but I think the issues of cost and the fact that the platform is very clear in terms of it being cheaper than other available platforms. So I think it's important for them to be vocal about that so that there's an awareness for people, the next generation, to want to get careers in this space.
Marist College will actually be hosting an ECC conference this June. What are these specific topics that you would like to have addressed at this event?
We need college people to have a sense of confidence that this is a place I can put my hat and have my career grow for the next 20 years. So I think that should be an important part of the agenda. Second, I think that, the players should be talking about what are the career opportunities. What should I be preparing myself while I'm in college to get those opportunities? And, how do I connect either with the vendors like CA or within companies in the communities that I would like to live or would be willing to live? There needs to be a buzz, a level of excitement that there's amazing things that can be done in this mainframe to take, these largest companies in the world to a scale of productivity that they've never achieved before. And, giving people a sense of the opportunity, the chance, and what they could do to make a difference, I think is part of it too, so that we make this exciting and cool, if you will. I, as a 22-year-old, 25-year-old, can work with people that have been around for 30 years, that wrote the first line of code for these products, that run big business, products that run Schwab, runs U.S. Customs, run the biggest corporations on the planet, and become part of it and be able to bring innovation that affects these companies in massive ways. That's really exciting. And that if I do a good job, I can escalate my career very rapidly because, as time goes on, there's less and less people in the management roles. There's less and less people in these key development roles and architecture roles. And I can assume those.